Hey everyone, how are you today? I hope you're having a good day. Today I'm going to do a read aloud of another book. This is just a for fun read aloud, but I wanted to share it with you. It's one of my favorite books, and I hope you enjoy it too. So the name of this book is Tomás and the Library Lady, and the author is Pat Mora, and it is illustrated by Raul Colon. Okay? So while we're reading this book, there's two things I want you to think about. The first one is I want you to think about how you might be similar or different, the same or different than Tomás in the book. So how might you be same or different? What are some things that are similar? What are some things that might be very different than your world or your life? The second thing I want you to think about is visualizing in your mind. So Tomás goes to the library and he discovers new worlds within books, and he is visualizing in them the words in his mind. So I want you to think about when you are reading words in a book, how you can produce those images in your mind and how they make you feel, what you see in your mind, and so just keep thinking about that. All right, I'll go ahead and start the read aloud. I'm going to make my screen a little bit smaller here so that you can see the book as we are reading it. I'll put myself down here. Okay, Tomás and the Library Lady. The author is Pat Mora, and it is illustrated by Raul Colon. Okay. Tomás and the Library Lady. In memory of Tomás Rivera, who loved books, and for librarians who lure us in, for Sylvia and Carl. So a lot of times authors of books will put a who the book is for in the front of their books, and that's just a way to show kind of respect or love for someone or something that they care about. Okay. It was midnight. The light of the full moon followed the tired old car. Tomás was tired too, hot and tired. He missed his own bed in his own house in Texas. Tomás was on his way to Iowa again with his family. His mother and father were farm workers. They picked fruit and vegetables for Texas farmers in the winter and for Iowa farmers in the summer. Year after year, they bumped along in their rusty old car. "Mama," whispered Tomás, "if I had a glass of cold water, I would drink it in large gulps. I would suck the ice, and I would pour the last drops of water on my face." Tomás was glad when the car finally stopped. He helped his grandfather, Papa Grande, climb down. Tomás said, "Buenos noches," good night, to Papa, Mama, Papa Grande, and to his little brother, Enrique. He curled up on the cot in the small house that his family shared with the other workers. Early the next morning, Mama and Papa went out to pick corn in the green fields. All day they worked in the hot sun. Tomás and Enrique carried water to them. Then the boys played with a ball Mama had sewn them from an old teddy bear. When they got hot, they sat under a tree with Papa Grande. "Tell us the story about the man in the forest," said Tomás. Tomás listened to Papa Grande tell stories in Spanish. Papa Grande was the best storyteller in the family. And remember, be thinking about how you might be similar or different, and be thinking about those visualizations in your mind. Listen to the words and visualize. "En un tiempo pasado," Papa Grande began. "Once upon a time, on a windy night, the man was riding a horse through the forest. The wind was howling, hoo, hoo, and the leaves were blowing, wish, wish. All of a sudden, something grabbed the man. He couldn't move. He was too scared to look around. All night long, he wanted to ride away, but he couldn't. How the wind howled, whoo! How the leaves blew, how his teeth chattered. Finally, the sun came up. Slowly the man turned around, and who do you think was holding him? Tomás smiled and said, "A thorny tree." Papa Grande laughed. "Oh, Tomás, you know all my stories," he said. "There are many more in the library. You are big enough to go by yourself. Then you can teach us new stories." The next morning, Tomás walked downtown. He looked at the big library. Its tall windows were like eyes glaring at him. Tomás walked around and around the big building. He saw children coming out carrying books. Slowly, he started climbing up the steps. He counted them to himself in Spanish. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. His mouth felt full of cotton. Tomás stood in front of the library doors. He pressed his nose against the glass and he peeked in. The library was huge. A hand tapped his shoulder. Tomás jumped. A tall lady looked down at him. "It's a hot day," she said. "Come inside and have a drink of water." "What's your name?" she asked. "Tomás," he said. "Come, Tomás," she said. Inside it was cool. Tomás had never seen so many books. The lady watched him. "Come," she said again, leading him to a drinking fountain. "First some water, then I will bring books to this table for you. What would you like to read about?" "Tigers? Dinosaurs?" said Tomás. Tomás drank the cold water, and he looked at the tall ceiling. He watched the lady take some books from the shelves and bring them to the table. "This chair is for you, Tomás," she said. Tomás sat down and then very carefully he took a book from the pile and opened it. Tomás saw dinosaurs bending their long necks to lap shiny water. He heard cries of the wild snake bird. He felt the warm neck of the dinosaur as he held on tight for a ride. Tomás forgot about the library lady. He forgot about Iowa in Texas. So remember, we're thinking about visualizing, and it sounds like Tomás is really visualizing the elements of the book he's reading. "Tomás, Tomás," the library lady said softly. Tomás looked around. The library was empty. The sun was setting. The library lady looked at Tomás for a long time. She said, "Tomás, would you like to borrow 2 library books? I will check them out in my name." Tomás walked out of the library carrying his books. He ran home, eager to show the new stories to his family. Papa Grande looked at the library books. "Read to me," he said to Tomás. First, Tomás showed him the pictures. He pointed to the tiger. "Que tigre tan grande," Tomás said first in Spanish and then in English. "What a big tiger." "Read to me in English," said Papa Grande. Tomás read about the tiger eyes shining brightly in the jungle at night. He roared like a huge tiger. Papa, Mama, and Enrique laughed. They came and sat near him to hear his story. Some days, Tomás went with his parents to the town dump. They looked for pieces of iron to sell. Enrique looked for toys. Tomás looked for books. He would put the books in the sun to bake away the smell. All summer, whenever he could, Tomás went to the library. The library lady would say, "First, drink of water, and then some new books, Tomás." On quiet days, the library lady said, "Come to my desk and read to me, Tomás." Then she would say, "Please, teach me some new words in Spanish." Tomás would smile. He liked being the teacher. The library lady pointed to a book. "Book is libro, said Tomás. Libro, said the library lady. Payaro, said Tomás, flapping his arms. The library lady laughed. Bird, she said. On days when the library was busy, Tomás read to himself. He'd look at the pictures for a long time. He smelled the smoke at the Indian camp. He rode a black horse across a hot, dusty desert. And in the evenings, he would read the stories to Mama, Papa, Papa Grande, and Enrique. One August afternoon, Tomás brought Papa Grande to the library. The library lady said, Buenas tardes, señor. Tomás smiled. He had taught the library lady how to say good afternoon, sir, in Spanish. Buenos tardes, señora, Papa Grande replied. Softly, Tomás said, I have a sad word to teach you today. The word is adios. It means goodbye. Tomás was going back to Texas. He would miss this quiet place by the cool water, the many books. He would miss the library lady. My mother sent this to thank you, said Tomás, handing her a small package. It's pan dulce, sweetbread. My mother bakes the best pan dulce in the Texas. The library lady said, How nice! How very nice! Gracias, Tomás, thank you. She gave Tomás a big hug. That night, bumping along again in the old, tired car, Tomás held a shiny new book. A present from the library lady. Papa Grande smiled and said, More stories for the new storyteller. Tomás closed his eyes. He saw the dinosaurs drinking cool water long ago. He heard the cry of the wild snake bird, and he felt the warm neck of the dinosaur as he held on tight for a bumpy ride. Oh, I love that story. I hope you really did some visualizing in your mind and that you were able to make some connections, maybe some things that are similar or different to your life or yourself. And this is a little note about the story. Tomás Rivera was born in Crystal City, Texas in 1935. A migrant worker who valued education, Tomás Rivera became a writer, a professor, a university administrator, and a national education leader. When Dr. Rivera died in 1984, he was the chancellor of the University of California at Riverside. The campus library now bears the name of the boy who was encouraged to read by a librarian in Iowa. All right. I hope you all enjoy that. Keep reading. Have a great day, and we'll see you again soon. All right. Adios.